Good. All right. Thank you guys all for being here. Appreciate you all. Thank you for your time and energy. Hello. What's your name?
Nikolai.
Nikolai. Welcome, Nikolai. Our goal with these sessions that we're doing now is to actually be able to present a cohesive understanding of what the space is in a way so that you can conceptualize it and you can then invest in it from a place of knowledge, right? Because one of the biggest mistakes a lot of people are making is we're entering a space without knowing the space, and somebody else knows the space better than us, and then they take all our money, right? That's been the experience for a lot of people in crypto, and now is the best time for people to start to actually look towards this direction. So my name is Sim. If you haven't seen me before, Sim like a SIM card. In order for us to understand what's going on within blockchain and crypto, we have to understand how the world is changing and how this fits into that bigger picture, right? So let's just go through what are some shifts that are happening. One of the biggest shifts that we need to understand is this idea of metaverse. You know, it's a keyword. Facebook seems like they've taken it over, and everybody thinks Facebook owns the metaverse. They don't. They've simply just coined it and brought it into the consciousness of humanity and into the lexicon, so we're starting to actually use it. But what's actually happening is the way the world works is shifting, the way value flows is shifting, and the way the internet works is shifting, right? So let's just go through that idea. Like, what is value? Value is this idea that we can do something to improve somebody's life. The way we add value to people's lives is we help them improve their life. Whatever you do somehow helps people improve their life, and those people are then happy to give you back value in the form of money for improving those people's lives. And the more people's lives you improve, the more money you get. That's a simple way of doing it. So money is a storage mechanism of value. That's simple. But also, we like to go right down to the even below that. When you're adding value to somebody's life, you're showing them love, right? So when you show somebody love, they're showing you love back in the form of money. So money is actually a storage mechanism of love, right? And when we store it somewhere, we store it with the idea that, hey, later on in life, when I need that love given back to myself in the form of money, it'll be stored somewhere where it'll be safe or protected, right? The way value has flowed in the last 20 years is through the internet, right? The internet has allowed us to be able to add value to millions and millions of people's lives, which has changed completely how value is shared. Back in the day, value was like in farms. How much food you grow, how many people you can feed was pretty much the bee's knees for value. And then the Industrial Revolution changed it into factories producing goods and people producing services was value. We all got specific jobs, and we started producing goods, and goods and services became value. The internet delivers value through networks. So it started to deliver value in a way where Google built a network of computers that serve a functionality that's very useful to everybody, which is answer questions. And that knowledge is so valuable to us, and it can add value to billions and billions of people's lives. So that's why Google got trillions of dollars, right? That's been this, and Facebook, same thing. They connected billions of people, they got trillions of dollars. Airbnb connected billions of people, hundreds of millions of people, and they got value. But all they actually did was they just set up a bunch of computers and programmed them to do something that was useful, and that was the reason, that was the value generation mechanism that the internet has been on. So when we're looking at what the internet is and what it's been, it's, first of all, it's just a bunch of computers hooked up together. It was just companies hooking up computers together and programming them in a way that people like. But it's also a digital space, right? It's a digital way of interacting with people. It used to be, before 2004, it used to be Web 1.0, which is like just static pages, and you would read those pages and gain knowledge from those pages, and that's it. After 2004, you weren't just reading the internet started reading us. It started watching us. And it was getting more from us than we were taking from it. That's the world that we live in today, where the internet takes more knowledge and data from us and more value from us than we gain from even, reading the stuff. But because it's free and it's those guys own the computers, so then we got to pay them in the form of attention and energy. But what that did is they own the computers. By they, I mean corporations, own the computers, own the data, own the knowledge, own the algorithms. They get to make all the money from it. And we can invest kind of like from a side door, we can invest in stocks and kind of participate in that, but the real amount of value stays in that ecosystem of computers, That's been the internet up until now. Now we're changing that. We're changing that into what people are calling Web3, but it's simply just the next stage of how we hook up computers together. We're changing it to a world where instead of all the computers being hooked up in companies and the companies own it and run it and make all the money, computers are being hooked up in a decentralized manner. So if you're hearing the word decentralized, it simply just means no one entity controls and runs all the computers. There's miners and people running computers. There's nodes and miners who are running computers that do stuff, but they're everywhere. And all these computers are running an accounting book on it, right? That's what the ledger is. When you hear the ledger, it's an accounting book that's running on all these different computers. No one computer is a head computer. But it's also like, it's not in a country, right? Like, it's not based in a country. It's jurisdictionless. It's become one world. So the value that sits on those computers isn't under the purview of any jurisdiction. That's huge. It's also, it's now creating a new way for us to be able to own things. Because up until now, we've had asset classes, right? We had real estate, commodities, debt instruments, cash. That's basically been it, right? I'm sure I'm missing one there, but those have been the asset classes that have existed. Now we've created a new asset class that is digital assets, digital ownership of assets. It's a completely new type of asset class. So we can own things in a way we haven't been able to own. We can actually self-custody things, because our money is not self-custody. Banks are not holding our money. They're holding their money, which they promise to pay us back when we look for that money, right? So in this new world, the internet's not just watching us. There's AI. There's sentient algorithms that are watching us, that are learning from us and becoming exponentially smarter over the long term. And they're now starting to control us. They're starting to control what we do. So the internet is no longer something that, it shows you ads. It's starting to change elections and countries and societies and how everything works, right? So that's the idea of Web3. All Web3 is, it's a nice term to say we're just hooking up computers in a new way, in a decentralized manner. Attach a little bit of AI in there, attach governance as an option through this token holding stuff, and that becomes this idea of Web3. But the real shift, the biggest shift that's happening is actually this idea of the metaverse, right? Metaverse is an experiential internet. So now, instead of us just, can you remember like internet was in big desktop computers, you could use it and then you could leave. And then it slowly like migrated to our laptops. And then it slowly migrated into our hands. And then it slowly migrated to our wrists. Now it's gonna migrate here first. And then it's gonna migrate here. It's gonna become a hallucination in our heads, okay? And that's about 10 years away. 5 years away to this, everybody to this, and 10 years away to in our heads, and Elon Musk is working on it. He's gonna figure it out. He's gonna jack us into the matrix, okay? That's a fact that's coming down the pipeline. But that experiential nature of the internet does a bunch of different things to the way the world works. Because what it is actually a new set of universes that are being developed, right? We exist in this reality, and we've interacted in this reality. Internet had started to kind of break this reality a bit, where we started to go through Zoom, and we started to social media, be able to connect with millions of people, add value to millions of people, right? That was the internet now, and it completely changed the world the way that it worked for the last 20 years. But the next 20 years is going to be the creation of many universe, an infinity of universes, which you will be able to experience. Right now you can see them and hear them, but pretty soon you'll be able to taste them, touch them, feel them, smell them, and eventually literally just go into a hallucination of them, okay? What that also does is it takes away locality. This idea of like, we're here, like just the fact that we're here right now, most of us, all of us, are working on the internet. So we're not just working in Bali, we're working globally, right? In this new metaverse, metaverses that are coming, we will be able to be here and there at the same time or be nowhere. Or we can literally just meet in a new space that's not here nor there. There's not in any country. There's not in any physical space. It's just in the ether. You know, it's in the cloud, in the whatever you want to call it. That then allows us to, then governments don't apply the same way. You know, now the biggest country in the world is Facebook. They have 3 billion citizens, right? And they're now going to take those 3 billion citizens and put them into their own metaverse, which they call Meta. But that's just their version of this thing. We're building other versions. Like we have people here, Bali Twin, they're building a digital version of Bali, a digital scan of Bali. So you will be able to experience Bali from anywhere in the world. You will be able to own Balinese art without physically taking it from the farmer. You will be able to buy a digital version of artisan art that's made here in Bali and get the digital version and put it on your digital mantle and then have the physical version shipped to you so you can have the physical one at your home, right? What it's also doing is it's changing the way value flows. The same way that earlier value was only, you had to produce a good or a service for the value to flow, and it would flow through banking systems. Now, you can create networks to add value, and that will allow you to transfer value back and forth. What the metaverse is doing now is even deeper than that, where it's allowing new business models to develop, which either extract value from that digital space and bring it into the physical, or extract value from the physical space and send it into the digital, okay? Let's actually think about some real world use cases of this. So there's been this play to earn model that's existed for a couple years. What it is people are spending time playing games anyway for free, and that adds value to their life because they get to play games. What we did is we went and bought NFTs in a game. Now partners of us did this. Gozi's managing their community, Unix, and they took investor money, invested it into a digital asset, which are assets within games. They're NFTs, and they're characters or ships or let's just say characters. And they took those characters and they gave it to Indonesians who had no jobs and said, play with these characters. And the Indonesians added their time and energy into playing the game, which is the value being put into the system. That made the NFTs are useful. They became valuable. As the value went up, some of that value was given as cash, basically, to the people who are playing the game. So now the people get to feed their children, and the investors get to have investment, and that model worked for some period of time. Now we're seeing that model falter a bit. But what's happening there is value is being pulled from the metaverse space, and it's literally feeding people on the ground. People who could not access it otherwise, right? These people, they don't even know metaverse. They don't know any of that stuff. But they were able to access the value from there, literally access the value from across the ocean by playing a game, and they could earn a Western living for some period of time, right? So that's a new business model which allows value to be transferred through digital assets and the person's time to be turned into value. And it didn't go to the centralized corporations. It went back to investors. It did go to the company a bit, and then it went back to the people who are actually playing the games and feeding their kids. Another version of this is this idea of we're digitizing Bali. Now, the people who own the land, they could only access value in a certain way, right? They would have to sell the land to somebody and hope that somebody comes along and buys the land, takes all the risk of buying the land, and one person would have to come in and buy the land. And that's a complicated system, right? If you want to sell the land, you got to go through a notary, who goes through a lawyer, who goes to the government. You try to process, then you ask the bank for money, the money gets sent over, then your lawyers process it, everybody takes a piece along the way. It takes you 1.5 years to buy a piece of land just to get to the point that you're building. In the new models, the land will be turned into tokens, fractionalized and turned into tokens and turned into NFTs. What that allows you to do is from the other side of the world, without ever having to meet the landowner, you can click a button, you can buy the piece of land, and the money gets transferred instantly. Within seconds, you have ownership of the land. Or if it's fractionalized and tokenized, you can buy 1/1,000,000th of Park. You can do this today. Park is tokenized, so you can buy 1/1,000,000th of Park. And the money the Park makes and the value the Park adds to the world, you can participate in that. And if you believe in Park today, while Park is still under construction, and then you hold it from today until later on when Park is making a ton more money, and the world thinks it's more valuable, you can sell it back to the world, and for supporting that, for taking the risk, you get value added back to your life. Or, so the play to earn thing, it's pulling value from the metaverse and it's making it physical. It's putting food on the plate by pulling value from the metaverse, right? We're doing the opposite version of that. We're tokenizing mines, right? So we have physical copper, gold, nickel, and iron mines. We broke them up into little pieces, tokenized them, registered it with the US government as a security, and anybody who buys those tokens is basically giving money to a system where mining can be done in a way that's cleaner, that doesn't pollute the environment, that helps the people on the ground, and you can buy a millionth of a mine, right? And what it does is if you stake that token, you get paid yields or dividends from what the mines are making. So then what we're doing is we're taking the physical assets and we're putting them into the digital space. And we're making it accessible to everybody in the world. Right now, if Ketut wanted to participate in mining, he can, right? Because you have to go to a stock exchange and you have to be in the US and you have to be a registered investor, so on and so forth. You can't even touch that wealth. So what this is doing is it's taking digital, physical value, it's putting it into, physical value, and it's putting it into the digital space, but then also making it digitally accessible back to the people in the real world, right? So these are new ways of thinking about how the value flows. It can flow from the real to the digital, and from the digital to the real. So the other thing with the metaverse is that wall of digital and physical is breaking down, right? Right now we think of the metaverse as like VR. We had the headset, we just did the presentation there in Canggu, and it was like, I put on the VR headset and I sat down and I meditated. And I literally, like, I couldn't see anybody around me, and the whole room filled up, and I'm sitting there meditating, and I'm in my own little universe. I was like in my own villa first, it looks like Uluwatu, and then went to a meditation app, meditated, flew a little kite, through some stuff. Eventually you fly a light and a bird. And it added value to my life because it centers me. In 5 minutes, it allows me to meditate, get into the meditative state that normally takes 30 minutes to an hour to achieve for me. 15 minutes to achieve, 30 minutes to like really sink into. But it was like, it cut me off from the world, and I went into this like experiential reality. The next stage is augmented reality, where no longer is it me just going into a virtual world. It's the virtual world physically manifesting itself in this reality. That's augmented reality, where like, you'll have glasses on, where you could, you could just turn it into a digital realm, or the camera can be turned on and I can see what's going on here, right? This is gonna turn into like sexy glasses that we'll all wear. And the fact that I can see it here, that means I can see things that are not there. Like for example, Siri is gonna become a person. It's gonna become a literal sentient person who stands next to you, and then everybody who has the glasses on will hallucinate it with me. You know, you will see my friend Siri, and then we'll just be like, hey, meet my friend Siri. And you'll be like you won't be able to tell, is she there or is she not? You literally have to come up and be like, okay, she's not there. You know, I mean, if we all call her Siri, then you know, like, okay, all of our Siris are not real, but like, you know, we'll all name them, they'll be friends, and they will actually know us better than anyone. They will know us better than ourselves and our partners. They will know all of our secrets, all of them. You know those dark things we all hide? They will know them, like Google knows it today, right? That will mean I won't need this screen, because you'll just need glasses for this screen to pop up. Or this poster won't be necessary, this won't be necessary, this won't be necessary. You'll be able to see it through my own eyes, or your eyes, or your eyes, or your eyes, right? You will then be able to interact with this AI in a way that it's like the internet manifest in reality. So I could go into my own digital world, virtual reality. I could pull the digital world and put it in the physical world, augmented reality. And this idea, cohesively is being referred to as XR, extended reality, where reality from this reality gets extended into the digital world, and the digital reality gets extended into this world. Does that make sense? Right? That's a completely different world. That's not a world where, first of all, there's any locality. Because I could manifest myself in any room, anywhere, as long as the technology is in place. I could manifest myself through your eyes, and I could see what you're seeing. You could live my life through my eyes. I could be in multiple places if I want. We could all just be here without actually physically being here, and it would look like you're all here. So we would be able to experience locality and places without actually being there, right? And I know, trust me, it sounds nuts, but if I would have told you you will have God in your pocket 13 years ago, if I would have said every single thing you want to know, you will be answered and done for you without having to even touch anything, and you'll have a supercomputing God in your pocket, you'll be like, you're nuts. And then 2007, it becomes reality. 2013, everybody has it. 2014, 2015, it's ubiquitous around the world, and it completely changes the way that we do business. How we connect with humans, relationships, how our children learn, every single thing. Just like these things are so, you remember before these? Hello, where's my friend? He's not here. Okay. Hello, where are you, bro? I'm at this place. Okay. And then you go to them and you be like, what you been up to? What you been up to? You know, and you'll be like, oh man, I went there, I did this, da, 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 da. Now it is like, you know what your friend ate in the morning. You can literally see it like, oh, that's great, more food, great, thank you. Or like, you know. But the shift that happens for XR is the shift where this entire world will not work the way that it works now. But also, more important to what we're talking about today, the way value flows will not flow the way that it does now. You know, that's why digital pieces of land are selling for more than physical pieces of land. Digital art is selling for more than physical art. Digital coins are selling for 50,000 times physical coins. And you're watching this happen, and people are like, how does this make sense? And it's like, because the world is shifting under your feet. And what's actually happening is money is coming out of your pocket, your bank account. Because you got $1 million, right? Okay, well, there's a ledger that says you have $1 million, and you like left yourself $1 million because you wanted to leave it for yourself. Somebody just went into the book and went, let's just type in 40% of the money supply. COVID, we got to type in a bunch of money into the ledger. When they created that money, that reduces the purchasing power of your money by 40%. But actually what happened, where did that money go? Into this digital space. A lot of it went into this digital space, and a flood of it will flow into this digital space within the next 2 years. 2 years, the flood will start. Next 4 years will be the curve of the flood. And in those 4 years, banking will change. Everything will change. Okay? If you haven't learned about, hello guys, welcome. Hello. If you haven't learned about the ISO 20022 banking system that's coming, that's going live from November of this year and completing implementation by November of 2025, please learn about it. We'll teach about it too. We've done talks about it. But the banking system and how value is even held and owned will change completely. But the way the value will move in this digital space will not be through banks and stockbrokers and people and institutions who take a piece along the way, who are smarter than you, who hold your money and allow you to use it in ways that they deem okay. It will flow in a digital sense. Value in the XR, VR, AR, metaverse will flow in a digital sense. And they will flow automatically, like as automatically as it can get. You know, it'll be like you'll walk into a restaurant and eat, and you'll just leave, and the restaurant will facially scan you or have some kind of like ID chip to scan you, and it will know who you are, and you'll have a digital ID attached to you, maybe through like a QR code. I don't know if you guys noticed, they're really pushing these QR code things, but that is our digital ID that will allow us to be able to interact with the world in a way that value will flow automatically. But also in this digital space, you know, let's say you see an art piece. This was in the Meta video. They're in their metaverse space and they're floating around, and one of the people on the ground is like, hey, have you guys seen this art piece that this artist left on the wall? And she digitally throws it into the metaverse, and it pops up and it's like floating around, and then it starts to disappear. And Zuckerberg goes, oh, 1 sec, let me pay the artist to see it longer. So boom, a smart contract will trigger, and some money will be transferred to that artist, and the art will be experienced for longer. When we're saying it's an experiential internet, you will pay for experiences. You will pay to experience Bali digitally. You will pay for, we're coming up with heal to earn models, where you will be able to heal, but for doing the healing, you will be paid. Because when you're healing yourself, you're healing the universe. You're healing the world. So we want to come up with systems where we pay people to heal. Or we're coming up with an act to earn model, where if you act in a way that helps the earth, and you clean the beach, or you recycle, or you do something that's good, we'll pay you. And on the other side, investors, we've figured out models where investors will make money from the earth being cleaned, and the people cleaning the earth will be incentivized to clean it even more compared to where we are today. So this is real world, on the ground change that's being created by value models shifting into this new modality of value flowing, because the world is becoming digital. The world is becoming digital, and the digital world is becoming physical. And the wall is being broken between those two things. So this will also be jurisdictionless, because locality as a concept is disappearing already. Like we're everywhere in the world at the same time. In this space, you will not be in a country. Like metaverses, first of all, the word metaverse is a misnomer, because there are metaverses, an infinity of them that we're all building. You can go into the Facebook one if you enjoy Facebook stuff, or you can come into the healing one if you want to do healing and you align with our kind of models. But the metaverses will not exist in a place. They will be beyond countries. Just like where's Bitcoin? Which country controls it? Nobody. They can't control it because it's beyond countries. Who will run the metaverse? Well, Facebook will run their metaverse for sure. If you choose to be part of their universe, that's you, okay? But we're building an infinity of metaverses on these decentralized computers, right? Because we just talked about Web3 and blockchain is a way to hook up computers in a new way that are not in one place, they're all over the place. Then when you run the metaverse on these computers, effectively you are participating in a non-local space that's beyond countries. It's a completely different universe upon itself. That also means so up until now, for the last like 250 years, power has been consolidated down to organizations, right? People have been consolidated into cities, and whoever controls the cities and the physical spaces and controls the countries and controls the borders, controls the power within there, controls the value that's within those systems, and they control the money, and then the money controls the power of everything, right? Countries have had the control, and that's been consolidated more and more and more and more and more. For the next 250 years, we're going to move towards decentralization. And it's not going to happen like that. These powers are not going to give up their power quickly. They're very interested in maintaining their power. But we are now starting to see systems and universes move beyond the borders and control of those countries. So these universes will be beyond the control of these countries. That's why crypto is mostly, the truly decentralized type cryptos are mostly beyond the control of all these countries. So this is, what it's doing, it is taking power away from organizations and countries and governments, and it's giving it to the individual. Because now, the single most powerful unit in the world has already become the individual. One lone hacker can take down a whole nation. A few hackers took down Ukraine, and they can do that to every single country. So one single individual has now become the most powerful unit, not countries. And that's you. That's us. Right? So now it's like, okay, what are we going to apply this power to? You are God. You're the universe. Manifest. And you literally are quantum entangled with the entire universe, and you literally change the physical universe. But now we have the ability for you to change the digital universe and the metaverse universe and create it. You can invest in it. You can build it. You can create it. You can come up with the visions. You can come up with the ideas. Whatever tickles your fancy, but do something with it. Because if you don't, the money's flowing out from your bank account. The money's flowing out from stocks. The money's flowing out of real estate. The money's flowing even out of, commodities are one of the things that's going to go up over the long term, because commodities are real world value that we'll still need. We'll actually need more of it going forward. That's why commodities are on the way up. But the value is, it's flowing out of debt markets. It's flowing out of all these instruments that we've had in the world, and it's flowing to these value mechanisms, which are going to be the base layer of the future of the internet, of this Web3 metaverse-based internet. Okay, why did I just go through all that? Because that's the world that we're in right now. We have seen the world shift like that. Right here, getting a business in Bali is the best idea you can get. you can have. Getting commercial real estate in New York, downtown New York, is like Goldman Sachs would give you loans to do that. On the other side of March 2020, those are horrible ideas. You just became some of the most indebted people in the world. Business shut down. Downtown New York became a ghost town. Bali businesses shut down, and you're left holding the bag with debt or risk open, where you put your own money into business models, which the world just went, it's done. It's off. That kind of shift is just the beginning of this avalanche of shifting that's going on. And anybody who's hooked up to those old business models will suffer, because value is flowing from the guy who owns the real estate to the person who is now fractionalizing it and allowing people to invest in it, or now turning it into Airbnbs. But even Airbnb, like Airbnb's working, great idea, and then the world shuts down, terrible idea, right? That same thing is going to happen to banking, same thing is going to happen to business models, the same thing is going to happen to everything that we do. Blockchain, when I'm saying in this digital space, value will flow seamlessly, like no banks, no brokers, no custodians, no nothing. That value needs to flow in a digital format. And that's what we are buying today. We are buying value exchange mechanisms which are hooked into this new paradigm. Today they're speculative. Today they're really speculative. It's always nice to have like 3 angles on me in the video, right? It's like, can you look from this side? Oh, we got 4? Wow, okay, geez. Oh, we got pro team. What we're buying is the value exchange mechanisms of the future of the world. Now, there's about 20,000 cryptos that exist today. 60% of them are legit scams. They're custom built, high quality, very convincing scams. And their function is to steal all of your money because you don't understand it. Because they'll do something like this. We are the decentralized, blockchain-based, non-local methodology to transfer value between organizations. And you're like, what did you just say? Like, I don't know what that is. But your friend's gonna go, man, I just bought this. Look at how much money everybody's making. And you go, great, let's put the house on it, right? And all it was some new scam that came out that you didn't understand, and the person who built it and understands it took your money. Luna. Everybody's like, Luna's the best. Luna, and I was like, dude, it's attached to a stable coin. If you just do this, your money disappears. People are like, shut up. Look at how much money it's making. Everybody's getting, you're stupid for not buying it. And I was like, guys, this is really risky, but like you should be careful with it. And then the owner of Luna, young guy, walks into the US serves him a subpoena. He just goes, I don't have to serve your subpoena, I'm South Korean. And he walks out to South Korea. He just flipped the bird to the owners of the dollar, and he's making a version of the dollar. These guys murder people for less. And this guy was like, yeah. And at that moment I was like, uh-oh. I was like, this guy's gonna be made an example of 100%. El Salvador adopted Bitcoin. I was like, they're gonna be made an example of. El Salvador is collapsing today. Social stability has completely collapsed in El Salvador. That's not a coincidence. That is a mechanism of the old structures attacking anybody who's trying to do this new stuff. Wall Street attacked Terra, attacked Luna with money. You don't only hack things with code, you can hack things with money. Wall Street does these hacks all the time. Who was it? Soros did this to the British pound. He attacked the Bank of England and took $1 billion from them with this same attack. It's a very classic attack on Wall Street. And they did that to Luna and they destroyed it. And the people who did not understand what was going on and they had this like vision of Luna is going to be the one thing that runs the world, paid dearly with their life savings. But it's because when you look at it like, is Luna going to be the value exchange mechanism in the world? Are they going to let some kid from South Korea create the value exchange mechanism of the future world? One that completely hates the existing power structures? No. So when we're thinking about investing in this space, we have to keep these risks in mind. We have to keep in mind, okay, 60% of these things are scams. Okay, so if I throw a dart at a wall, I'm more likely to hit a scam than I am not a scam. 30% of them are not scams, but they're going to lose all your money because they're not like regulatorily compliant, or they just haven't looked forward enough, or they're just pie in the sky ideas. 90% of startups fail statistically, so 90% of cryptos will fail because they're just not built to last. But 10% of them, about 10% of them, they are the future value exchange mechanisms of the world. And we can see which ones. Because all you do is you just look at who owns it, who made it, who owns it, who's running it, who made it. Are they the owners of the world? Or is it some kid? If the owners of the world made it, I think they're going to use that one. And if pie in the sky idea kids made it who think they're giving people freedom through a technology called blockchain, like it's literally named blockchain. You don't get freedom from blocking and chaining people. You get freedom from like not blocking and chaining people, right? So the kids who think they're giving everybody freedom through blockchain are just their dreamers. Kids learn lessons through traumas. But the owners of the world are building the stuff, and they're leaving it in their documents, and they're incorporating into systems, and they're putting it into central bank functions, and they're building it all out, and they're releasing these documents to you constantly. But nowadays, who reads a document? Document, bro. Give me a title. I got 40 seconds. I got to go to my Facebook post and like flip through it for 40 minutes, right? So when you read those documents, you can actually see which ones are the ones that actually build the world. Now, I'm not going to give you them. This whole process is not the process of me telling you what to put your money in. Because even if I gave you them, you would efficiently find a way to lose all of your money. Most beginners, even if you give them gold and you invest into it the wrong way, they will lose all their money. You know, Bitcoin is not really one of them. Bitcoin does have a function in this space. Bitcoin has a similar function to what gold has in the traditional asset space. No, that's okay. So in the traditional asset space, Bitcoin, gold is about $11 trillion out of like $1.6 quadrillion-ish of value that's out there, if you include derivatives. No, sorry, 1.8 quadrillion dollars of value. 18,000 billion dollars. 1.8, 1,800, you get the idea. 1.8 quadrillion dollars, and gold is this like $11 trillion asset, like a little tiny drop in the bucket. And even out of that, like physical gold is like $4 trillion. So that's about an equivalent amount of value that Bitcoin will serve in this future world. It's just, Bitcoin's easy for us to understand, because it's like, okay, Sim, so you're saying this is a bunch of computers that were connected together, and all these computers do is they run an accounting book that somebody can't fudge, somebody can't change it. That's valuable to us, right? Earlier, it's like, well, the bank is an accounting book where I'm holding money, but some guy just goes and types it into a ledger and just prints a bunch of money. Like, that's not how I want to store my value. I'd rather have an accounting book that we're all running where we can put our value that nobody can change. Okay, so it is valuable in and of itself. But it is not meant to be a value exchange mechanism. It can do that the same way gold could be a value exchange mechanism, but it's not very built for that. It's built to be held like gold. It's built to just hold on to value as an asset and slow grow that value over many years. Not from November until now, not if you're trying to get rich in 6 months, but if you're trying not to get poor in 10 years, Bitcoin is a good place to keep your money. And again, this is not financial advice. If you lose all of your money by doing this, please be careful, because many, many, many people lose all of their money even investing in Bitcoin. But there's a piece in there. So the world is shifting to this digital/physical extended reality world, and there are value exchange mechanisms that we can use, that we can invest in. And what we're doing when we invest is we buy things which the world doesn't know is valuable yet. We're so early in this space, it's not even funny. Like, we're at the 1997 stage of internet. If you bought any good company, if you bought Amazon in 1997, you're not in this room. You own Parks, okay? But what happened is, 1997, it went up. Amazon went up to like $100-something, and then it crashed to $5, 96% crash. This is a company. And then it went from that to like $1,300 or whatever it was at. So that's what we're experiencing now. Value exchange mechanisms, speculation pumps them up, speculation bubble pops, adoption phase starts, and that's where the value actually gets manifested. So these strategies are built not for you to go out. I mean, we will deal with how to pick the coins and all that stuff, which I know everybody thinks that's the most important thing. No, the most important thing is understanding yourself. Who are you? How does your psychology work? What's your relationship with money? How do you deal with stress? How do you want to have a lifestyle? And that will determine how you participate in this space. Because otherwise you won't last. I can give you all the best coins, you just won't be here the next time they do a 10x, 20x, 50x. You won't be here because your lifestyle will not be good enough, and this thing will become a stressful thing for you, and you'll be like, I don't want this. I don't like this roller coaster that this thing puts me on. And that's the other thing, like the adoption of these technologies does not happen like this. It happens like that. We're going through this right now, speculative manias. But the adoption will happen in an exponential manner. And that will happen between 2024 to 2029-ish, 2030-ish, about 6 years of like true adoption of these technologies, because the world will need to be completely destroyed from what it is today and how we work today. And new systems will need to be created, which will go live between 2023 and 2025. And on the other side will be the true adoption of these technologies. And you'll see these metaverse things come out, glasses will come out, all these things will come out. So this is actually a self-analysis. And out of that comes how we invest. How do we participate in a way that fits our needs, right? Let's go to the intro, please. Let's go to the next page. This is not financial advice, legal tax advice. Please don't use this to lose all of your money. If you do, please don't call me, because like this is a common thing a lot of people do, and I have to say all this stuff. But this is also not just a spiel. This is serious. If you enter this space without knowing what's going on, you will get hurt. But if you enter with knowledge, you will prosper. I have experience in the crypto space. You guys can read this on your own. I'm not going to pump my tires. Let's go to the next one. So this is important. Like, why do you need a strategy? You know, it's a simple rule. Like, I remember I used to watch like inspirational videos when I was younger, right? And I'd be like, give me the secret to success. And they would go, write your goals on a piece of paper. And I'd be like, give me the real secret to success. And they're like, just write your goals on a piece of paper and then do them. Turn them into smaller goals and then just do them. And I'd be like, it's too simple, bro. Give me the bee's knees. Like, what did you do? And then I realized all it is you just gotta have a strategy. Because if you have a strategy, you will be part of the 2% of people that actually come into this space with a strategy. Because you're playing the game against giants who have paid hundreds of millions of dollars to develop strategies, and their strategy is this: scare you into giving up your own money. And we'll share this with you. We'll send you a PDF of this. You'll actually get this. We have a recording of this too that you can watch. And this whole thing will be posted as a course that will be freely open to everybody. So have a plan. Because what happens is, this is an emotional roller coaster that you're going to be on. And if you don't have a plan when the emotions are hot, you know, your plan's going to disappear. Like the Tyson quote, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. It's so true. And in the monetary space, it's even worse, because you get punched in the gut, where your understanding of who you are changes from how the fluctuations in the dollar figures happen, right? So what our job is, yes, definitely learn about cryptocurrencies. And now this process that we've gone through right now has been the umbrella of explaining what's changing in the world and where cryptocurrencies fit into that umbrella. But also having goals, understanding what goals you have in this that are driving you. Because if they're monetary goals, you're probably not going to make it. But if they're deeper goals that you're like, I see a bigger vision and this aligns with my vision somehow, those are much better. How to understand risk. Like, this is, if there's one piece you take away from all of this stuff, is risk. Understand the risk you're taking. Understand the timelines that you're risking your money on. Understand the goods and bads of it. And then we'll go through all this stuff, like how to move stuff, how to do taxes, profits, security, all this stuff. So, okay, so goals and risk. What is your risk tolerance? What is your risk tolerance? Right? How much risk can you go to sleep with? Because if this is your like life savings that you've spent 50 years building and now you want to settle down and you want to just live a good, happy life, you should not be risking that. I'm 33. I can risk everything. I can lose it tomorrow, and by the time I'm 43, I'll make back 10 times as much because I have life left ahead of me. And my generation, we've been the risk takers. We're the YOLOers. Put it all on black. You know, dump it. Let's go. How much we got to lose? We don't have that much anyway in the first place. You know? So who are you? How does risk feel? I go to sleep perfectly fine risking it 100%. But I also understand this space so deeply. I know how to build it. I know how to participate in it. I have a vision of what's happening in the world. I've done a lot of research for 15 years to get to the point of being confident enough to take that much risk. But I can go to sleep with that just fine. If you're somebody who's anxious and has, you know, your relationship with money is not right, or it gives you anxiety to risk your money, and you take too high of a risk, you're going to enter a space, it's going to put you through the tumbler, and you're going to be spit out without your money. Because you will just not be able to handle the anxiety it creates to be on that emotional roller coaster. So you have to understand, what level of risk am I happy with? So really think, and we'll give you this document, a fillable version of this document. You can take these courses, you can fill it out for yourself, you can self-analyze and build your own strategy. Otherwise, I do wealth planning sessions with people to do this too, but we're giving this now for free to people so people can do it themselves if they want. But how much risk can you go to sleep with? Low, medium, high. That's how I like to think about it. Crypto as a whole space, on the traditional asset space, crypto is already like peak high risk because it's all speculation. It still hasn't come to fruition. You're investing in stuff like there's a chance you're going to lose some money along the way. But in the traditional risk analysis, it's so high risk, they don't even touch it. Like traditional asset managers, you tell them crypto, they're like, whoa, don't go there. That's a Ponzi scheme, because most of it is a Ponzi scheme today, right? So we are talking about risk within the crypto space itself. Low risk, medium risk, high risk. Okay, so how do you think about risk? How do you quantify risk? Can you go to the next page, please? First of all, you go, okay, how much of my money do I want to risk just in two tranches, let's say? One is your low risk, one's your high risk. Low to medium, medium, high to extreme, let's call it. Risk is also reward. That's where those things are tied together. The more risk you take, the more reward you can get. But also the more risk you take, the more likely you are to lose all of your money. So it's really important to have a balance of those two things. For now, for beginners, stay in this space. Stay in the low to medium. Especially today, where we are today, prices are so low, everything's dumped off of a cliff. You don't need to take insane amounts of risk to get a really solid amount of reward as long as you're picking the right things. So beginners should stay in this zone. You should make profits here and then risk them here. Because high risk is like, in crypto, high risk are things that make 10 times or more in like 3 years, 2, 3 years, 4 years at the latest if you got it at the worst time. 1,000% is a ridiculous return to get in spaces. So you don't need to risk 70% of your money here to try to make a lot of money. If you do that, you're probably a greedy person and you're going to end up losing your money because the risk of you losing your money is very high here. For that, it's like if I risk 10% here and it's going to 10x in 4 years, that means I'll make back my initial investment just from a 10% exposure of risk, right? And your ranges might be different. I play with house money. I play with only profit. And we're going to look at how to do this. But I put money in, I turn it into profit, I pull my money out. I pull it out and I put it into my businesses and revenue streams and other places. Now I can't lose any money. I'm playing with house money. Then I can increase my risk a bit. But even then, I'm still a medium risk investor myself because I don't want to go above medium risk. I'm good. I'm here for the next 40 years, 50 years, and I have time. So I'm like, our goal here is not to lose money, not to get you rich, okay? We're not getting rich quick. We're just not getting poor slowly, okay? This is not a get rich quick scheme. This is a don't get poor slowly scheme, which will beat any of those other, hare versus tortoise type of situations in the long run. And the long run is like 4 years. Investing 4 years is like, that's ridiculous. You made that return in 4 years. But in the crypto space, in the world, in the instant gratification world we have today, 4 years, like, I gotta wait 4 years to make 10 times my money? Like, that's ridiculous, right? So we have to change that, and we have to figure out what ranges we're in. Then we break down the percentages. We go, okay, how much of my total portfolio investment, first of all, the amount of money you put in should be the amount of money that you do not need to touch for, let's say, 3 years from today. If I told you how much of your money, if it was taken from you and put away and you cannot touch it, you have to act like you don't even have that money for the next 3 years, how much money would you put in there? People say put in only what you're willing to lose. Okay, well, then you're already telling the universe, I'm willing to lose this. That's not really the right mindset to go into things with. It's more, how much of my money, if I could not access for 3 years and I had to ignore it for 3 years, would I put into the space with the intention of making a shit ton of money on that money? I don't know what shit ton looks like for you, depending on your risk ranges, that would be different. So what we would do is then we would split those amounts, right? Like, let me give you, and use this with reason. This really depends on who you are. But like a medium risk investor would do something, today would do something like 40, 40, 20. Right? Just because you're a medium risk or a low risk doesn't mean you don't expose yourself to the high risk. A low risk investor would go like, 50, 45, 5. Right? Mostly low and medium risk with a little bit of thing there. So this all depends on how you see yourself and what's your analysis of your inner state. Low market cap is extreme risk. So we're going to have to change this stage at some point. So let's actually put numbers around risk. Okay, let's put numbers around. Like, what number do I look at to know how risky something is? This is one metric of it. It doesn't fully define the risk, but this is one metric of it. When you're looking at cryptos, don't look at the price. The price has almost nothing to do with what the value of the crypto is. It actually has nothing to do with what the value of the crypto is. It is simply, the only time price matters is where you entered and where you exit. Once you enter, then you care about price. But otherwise, price doesn't matter. What matters is the market cap of the cryptocurrency, right? So when you look at a list, you'll see the market cap. That market cap is a representation of the hypothetical value that the world assumes that system to be, right? Again, market cap is the hypothetical value. Basically, market cap says if every single coin that exists sold today at today's price, this would be the total amount of money that would be made. But that's not how it works, right? As you sell coins, the prices go down. So realistically, that's not how much money is in the thing. But it's a good conceptualization of how much value does the world assume to be in this system. Then it's like, okay, Bitcoin has $300 billion market cap or something today, right? So the world assumes it to be $300,000 million worth of value. $300,000 million worth of value is what the world is telling you Bitcoin's at today. Okay, if the smartest money makers in the world think it's worth 300,000 million, they've done the research to at least see that, okay, that seems really high likelihood that that's something safe. Because if today it's at 300 billion, that means there's probably close to about $150 billion of actual cash that's in the system. So whoever put the $150 billion of actual cash into the system, they probably did their due diligence. They probably have a great strategy, so you can leverage that. Now, Luna had like a $60 billion market cap or something. Luna and Terra put together. So this isn't just like, oh, just choose this and done. You actually then have to pick like, okay, what is this that I'm buying, right? But the point is, today, the top 30 cryptocurrencies, again, this is all my opinion and calculations, the top 30 cryptocurrencies are in the low risk range. The next 50 cryptocurrencies are in the medium risk range, and about the next 100 cryptocurrencies from the top are in the high risk range, and everything else is crazy amounts of risk. That's a good way of thinking about it. Okay, if it's in the top 30, it's low risk. And you'll see the market caps, it'll be in the 5 billion and above level. And it'll fluctuate over time, but it's somewhere close to that. Does that make sense? You can literally look at the amount of value the world accrues to a system, and then you can put it into these different risk ranges. If you're somebody who's like, I want to go 40, 40, 20, then you would take 40% of your portfolio and spread it out in the top 30s somewhere. Now, this is also going to depend on, we'll go into that in a second. So let's go to the next page. So then what are your goals? Like, tell me why it is that you want to invest in this space. If your goal is One with a zero behind it, a bunch of zeros behind it, those are not the kind of goals that work here. If your goal is just to make money in this space, your greed is going to make you blind, and we'll look at the psychological manipulation that happens to trick you into losing your money. But have bigger goals. Who are you? What's your mission? What drives you? What's like in your heart? You know, what's something that if I shake you and I go, run for the hills, everything's crashing, everything's going to zero, sell it for 80% lower than where you bought it, and you just go, you're not going to scare me. Like, my goal is to leave my entire net worth to systems that teach kids about their divinity. And I will die on that hill. And you're not going to shake me off that shit. I don't care if you make it go like this, and then like this, and then like, it doesn't matter. Until I get to that goal, I will not be shaken from my hill. Okay? If your goal is, I want to have a better life for my kids. I want to build stuff for humanity to get better. I want to build communities. I want to build systems. I want to have a better life for myself and my family. I want to get my mom a house. Those kind of things are way, way, way deeper goals, which are much more emotional things for you to connect to. So when the emotional roller coaster happens, you remember like, oh yeah, I'm doing this because of my North Star, my big goal. It's not the money. Because the trick in this space is the only point of control they have on you, and by they I mean the people who are smart enough to trick you into giving up all your money because they have all the money. The only point of control they have on you is one number on one screen. It's one number on one screen that says the dollar value of your portfolio. And they know if they make it go down, you're going to feel like shit. And we're going to literally look at the chart. They teach it to like Wall Street newbies. It's called the Wall Street cheat sheet. You can Google it. It's our Bible. But they know when it goes down, they know exactly the emotional state they're going to put you in. They even have names, and we have charts of it. I can tell you your emotional state from a chart I have. And they never asked a person a question. It has nothing to do with people. It's a calculation of profits that are sitting within the system that determines your emotional state. And all it is just a number on a screen that just went down. And then when the number on the screen goes up, guess what? You become greedy. When it goes down, they're like, are you scared yet? You scared yet? Are you going to sell it now? And you go, okay, I'm terrified. Take it. Just give me 20% of my money back. I will leave this space and never return. Then it goes up. Now you're 1,000% up. The lunatics were like, we're crushing it. I made 50,000% returns. And I was like, did you? Let me see it. Let me see the money. Let me see the cash in your bank account. Let me see the cash, physical cash. Let me see the house that you bought with it. Let me see the true wealth you created. Did you use it to spend time with your loved ones? Did you have coconuts on the beach? Did you improve your kid's life? Did you do anything? No, look at the number on the screen. And I'm like, that's a fake number on a screen, bro. And then guess what they had? Greed. Greed blinds. And so the trick is that number on the screen is the only modality of control they have on you. So you know what we do? We ignore that number. I ignore that number until it's really good. I ignore that number completely until it's like at a level where I'm like, that's a lot of money. And then I go and take some of the money out. And then I turn it into wealth. I fly my family places. I have parties with friends. We do healing ceremonies. You buy some real estate, put it into some businesses. You put it into all these different spaces, build the communities, build education systems. That's real wealth, right? The trick is, if you don't have the right goals, you'll be on this roller coaster of that number going up and down, and you will get shaken out, and you'll probably be in a state of anxious depression, and you won't make it 10 years to get to the other side where we make 1,000x. So here are the actual strategies that a lot of people use. For beginners, this is where you stay. Simple. Top 100 cryptocurrencies, that's it. You do not go lower than the top 100 cryptocurrencies. It's simple. It's extremely simple. Buy them when they're at a good price. Chill. Hang out. Don't touch it. And like, here's another point. You know who's the only person capable of losing all your money? It's like literally you. Like, nobody has the keys to lose all of your money, actually. So you're the biggest risk to your own portfolio. So what we do is, most of the time, you get it at a good price, and you don't touch it. Get away from it. Stop. Go do other stuff. Go live real life. And when they go up, we will look at strategies on how to take profits and how to have a few different ways of actually bleeding that value out in a way that allows you to be able to realize it. if you're a beginner and you want to go 5-ish% and down into this range, that's cool. But these are this range is not to be touched in a major way until you have profits. Because remember, this is a marathon. This is not a sprint. We will have at least 3 more opportunities for us to get these amazing bottom barrel prices within the next 12 years as this deployment goes. So please use the higher risk investment in lower cap coins with very, very below top 100 coins with care. What a lot of people do is they see this. They see margins in future trading and they think, well, that's great. That sounds like a great place for me to make money. I can take $1 and I can make a bet like it's $100 and I can make money. Yeah, no. 95% of people lose money here. 5% of people make the 95% of people's money. Because again, you're playing a game where you don't have an edge and you just came in starry-eyed thinking you're going to get rich tomorrow. And what they do is they wipe you clean of your money and they send you away. If you're interested in trading, learn trading, fine. If you learn trading for 2 years, 3 years, and you execute it like a robot, if you want to learn trading, go to tradercobb.com. Best trader that I've ever found, best risk balance trader I've ever found. Tradercobb.com. Take their free course first. They'll help you understand how to understand all this trend-based stuff and trends and candles and everything. Take their paid course and they'll give you a checklist of strategies. Then you take 1% of your portfolio. You're only allowed to take 1% of the money you have. It might be $50. And you have to turn the $50 into just $50. Again, you just have to not lose your $50 over a year. And if you can do that, put another $50 in there. And if you can do that for 2 years, now let's up it to like 5% of your portfolio. Because now you've become a systematic robot that's able to execute a strategy in a way that has proven for you to make money. Almost certainly you'll sit down and you'll just get so sick of it that you'll just lose your $50 and then you'll just leave. Trust me, I did this, I learned trading and I was like, this is not what I want with my life. I don't want to sit here and stare at numbers, okay? So this is, almost nobody should be doing this. This is another one that like a lot of people, they go, wait, Sim, so you said the bigger coins. So, when we're saying these coins have giant market caps, $300 billion market cap, for it to double, it needs to go up another $300 billion, right? But these new coins are like, oh, it's worth $2 million today. So only $10 million has to flow in for it to 5x. So people go, yeah, that's the place to get rich quick. So then you go and buy a bunch of risky, scammy shit coins that are just ICO, IDO, new launching coins, and you will hold them, and then somebody will pump and dump and take all of your money because you didn't understand that it has no value behind it, okay? So this is, again, this is for people we call degens. We don't even call it, they call themselves degens or degenerates who are crazy enough to just shovel money into these spaces, and when they make it ridiculously big, but they lose 95% of their money in that space. So beginners, number 1 is where you should stay. Number 1 and number 2 is a blend. 5% of people have the right mentality to become a trader and do that for 2 years and then prove to yourself that you don't lose your money, and then you're allowed to trade. Okay, so then like what is your strategy, okay? Then now you know, okay, here's me. I'm an anxious person. I don't like too much risk. I have this timeline. That's the other thing you have to think about. Like if you're investing for less than a 3-year timeline, you're in the wrong space. A 5-year timeline is healthy. And if you're here for less than 5 years or 3 years at least, it's not a good idea. At least 2 years from where we are today. Just 2 years is okay. But generally speaking, because people will be watching this at different times, generally speaking, have a 3-year minimum to a 5-year strategy, right? Then you would determine, okay, what is my strategy? I'm going to put X percentage of my money into low risk, X percentage into medium risk, X percentage maybe into high risk for X amount of time, and I'm going to execute a set of profit-taking strategies to take profits along the way, and I'm going to take my profits and I'm going to put them into something. Something like that would be your strategy. Everybody's strategy differs, but that would be a basic gist of how you develop your own strategy. And the whole reason you write this out is because you then have to execute it. You have now determined this to be you, and you're not allowed to deviate from that. Unless some major thing changes in a way that the game has changed completely, the whole point of a strategy is just to execute it like a robot. Okay, so what's your strategy? Pick a diversified risk range of coins, invest in them in a certain way, and then I'm going to take profits for a certain period of time, something like that, okay? And then this is on the workbook. Here's where you would fill it out, but you would also fill it out in the previous sheets. So this is homework. And again, I go through this with people. I teach people this, and we sit down and we do wealth planning sessions. But I think doing it on your own is really useful as well, because then you can actually figure all this stuff out. What are your goals? Workbook, fill this out. This is extra space. All right. So then we have to think about, okay, now I know who I am, what my goals are, what is risk, how much am I risking, how much am I risking in which range, what's my strategy. Okay, now I have to determine, where's my money? How do I move it? Which regulation applies to me, right? For example, if you're Russian right now, you can't invest through Indonesia, right? You can't invest through certain exchanges. If you're in Venezuela, you can't invest in anything. If you're in parts of Africa, you can't invest through anything. So you then have to determine, first of all, where am I a resident? Where is my tax residency? Not just a resident, where's my tax residency? Which is, we'll have a conversation later about taxes, but where's my tax residency? Where's my money sitting? What are the roadblocks for me to move my money? Right? Because if you have $1 million and you try to put it through Indonesia, good luck moving $1 million into Indonesia, and good luck putting it into an exchange where $1 million is their daily flow, and it's just going to be a headache, right? So you have to then determine, which exchanges do I use? So according to my research, the best exchange globally is Kraken, kraken.com. They're the gold standard of exchanges that we know of until now. If you're moving anything lower than $100,000, Kraken is great. You can transfer money through the SWIFT system and use Kraken. If you're moving anything over $100,000, Kraken has an OTC desk, which is like white glove, wealthy people services, where somebody speaks to you and helps you move giant amounts of money around. And then when you turn the million or 100,000 into a million, they can seamlessly send the million back into your account. Again, white glove liaison service. Okay. Now, if you're a New York resident, you can't use Kraken. If you're a Washington resident, you can't use Kraken. In Iran and all those blacklisted countries, you're off the list. But if you're Russian, you can use Kraken. Kraken did not say anything to the Russians, even though, you know, all of a sudden the world started not liking Russians for some reason, even though they're good people. Otherwise, so let's go to the next page. These are so Binance is the biggest exchange in the world. Ideally with exchanges, you want to have multiples. You want to have as many as you can, but you use the one that's the best. So Binance is right now the biggest exchange in the world. They give you access to the second most amount of coins. So it's a good idea to get them. It's not a good idea to use them. Right now, I don't trust Binance because, again, Binance is not made for the elites by the elites, right? Remember we said who built it, who owns it, who runs it, whose money's on it, all that kind of stuff. Binance is where Asia's money's sitting, and a lot of West's money sitting too, but the wealthy do not use Binance. They actually use Binance for speculative trading. And Binance is, when we're looking at exchanges, we have to be very careful of looking under the hood. We have to check what is the value exchange mechanism they're using to trade. Right? Because when you look at Binance, if you go to CoinGecko and you go to the health score of the exchange and you look at it, it shows you that Binance is mostly using USDT, Tether, which is a scam, stablecoin. Okay, a stablecoin is simply a coin that's equivalent to the dollar at all times, but it's a scam coin that's one day going to blow up, and they're using 70% of it. 70% of the value that moves within Binance moves on that. 30% of it does move on BUSD, which is a safe coin. So Binance is 30% okay, 70% at some point it's going to blow up. Coinbase is the safest exchange out there, according to my calculations, because nearly 100% of the money that moves on Coinbase is actual US dollars. It's not even stable coins, it's actual US dollars. But Coinbase is terrible to deal with. They're terrible to deal with. They're so terrible that I will say it again. They're horrendous to deal with, okay? They are like the banks, where it's like, you want to move your money, and they go, prove to us it's you. And you're like, what do you mean prove to us? I already sent you my DNA samples. Like, what do you need else from me? And they're like, no, send us more stuff. Send us this. Where are you sending the money? Why are you in Indonesia? Why are you logging in from there? Cancel your account. We picked up your IP in Indonesia, and we just don't like the whole country, so we're just going to shut down your entire account and lock up your money. And you got to prove to us how you're not a scammer, now that you've made a lot of money and you want the money back. okay? But they're the safest because they're regulatorily the most compliant, and this is custom made by the elite for the elite, and they keep a lot of their money there. Kraken is the gold standard. Kraken works in most countries. They're a private company based in the US, made by the elites, for the elites, privately. And their customer service, their experience, their app, their usage, just the ease with money, with the way money moves back. My most important thing is, well, how does the money move out? How easily does the money move out? And these guys give you your money back in a heartbeat. And they'll send you as much money as you like going back. And most of their money that they transact is US dollars, and some of it's euros. But they're actual euros and dollars, not these fake stable coins and stuff. KuCoin is just here because there may be some exchanges, some coins that you can't access from these other exchanges. They're smaller coins if you want to get into them. But KuCoin's like 100% fake tether money flow. So you use KuCoin, but you don't stay on KuCoin. KuCoin is not where you sit. You go to KuCoin, get what you want, take it off, put it in your own pocket. And then hope to God KuCoin doesn't go down, because later on when you need to sell it, KuCoin might be the only place where you can sell it. Okay, so these are risks. These are exchange risks you have to calculate about all this stuff. So again, if you want to get at least two, get these two. This is a necessary evil. This is the gold standard. Now, multiple ways to get your money on and multiple ways to get your money off. The more ways you have to get your money in and the more ways you have to get your money out will protect you against something weird happening and some blockade happening somewhere. Right? Like if I think Binance blocked Russians or something for a while. Like I'm not gonna spread FUD around them. I don't know, but some exchanges, when they blocked Russians, the Russians who had other exchanges moved their money to other exchanges, drew it out, pulled it out into their bank accounts, and before the other exchanges shut them down, got their money back. But to have more of them and not need them is the best. So sign up, verify with your ID. This has changed a decent bit. We're going to update this, but even today, Binance is the most used exchange in the space. But for now, I don't recommend Binance. This is the other thing about this landscape. It changes so quickly that like Binance was fine until like a couple weeks back. And then we're like, oh shit, Binance is screwed. Now we pulled all of our people off of Binance. We literally like sat with them and helped them pull it off. So Binance is no longer the best. Please ignore this. Kraken is the best for almost all the countries. If you can't use Kraken, then Coinbase is going to be the next, because New York and a few other jurisdictions don't allow Kraken. And then having Binance and KuCoin as backups is still okay, right? When you verify your ID, please create your account, but please verify with your passport. And this is a pro tip. You can verify if you're a Westerner and you're living in Indonesia, or you're a Westerner and you have multiple addresses, you can verify with your Western address than Indonesian address. It'll give you a lot more smoother experience in being able to transact your money, because you get bule privileges. If you're transferring a large amount of money, OTC desks is the only way to move that money. OTC desks are over-the-counter trading desks. That's above $100,000. Anything in the millions of dollars range, you should only be interacting with OTC desks. So this process of getting your money in is called on-ramping your money. Like I want you to imagine crypto as an island, and I want you to imagine the banking system in the world as the mainland, and we need an on-ramp to on-ramp money into the crypto island, grow it, and then we need an off-ramp to off-ramp the money back off of the crypto island, okay? So these are usually the on and off ramps. OTC desks for the high net worth individuals, large exchanges, again, Kraken. For some people, they actually have to use Binance still in many countries, but Kraken would be a gold standard for on-ramping your money and actually off-ramping your money as well. Now, the other thing that you can do that a lot of people miss is you can have local exchanges, right? So Binance is a global exchange. So when Kraken, Binance, all of them are global exchanges. So when you want to put money in, your money needs to go from your bank account through the SWIFT system into their bank account, right? Into the exchange. Then when you want to pull money out, it's going to go from the exchange through the SWIFT system into your bank account. But sometimes, like one thing that we're projecting is the SWIFT system is going to collapse within the next 2 years. okay? First of all, the banks are going to do bank bail-ins. If you haven't seen our bank bail-in talk, please go back. Please join the free group. Watch our bank bail-in talk. I'll do it again. But it is legal. It's literally written in the document you signed with the bank that the next time the banks go bankrupt, they're legally allowed to take all of your money like they did in Cyprus in 2013. They took everybody's money. There's no bailouts anymore. There's bail-ins, which means unsecured lenders will pay with their own money, and we're the unsecured lenders. But my point is, when and if the SWIFT system goes down, you will be able to move your money to local exchange. Let's say you need it in Indonesia and you can't use the SWIFT system to bring it in. You can sign up for Indonesian exchanges. You can sign up for Toko Crypto. Toko Crypto is the gold standard. Indodax, Pin2, it's okay, Rekeningku. We're now getting into the weeds, but have all of them. Sign up and verify for them, because if you ever need to bring money into Indonesia, you could bring your crypto or stable coins into those exchanges, sell it, turn it into rupiah, and the rupiah shows up in your bank account in seconds, and you can pull it out. The local exchanges are to be had, not mostly to be used. Can we go to the next one, please? Again, if you're investing a large amount, please use the OTC desk from Kraken. The other OTC desk people you'll find are just people. They're like, I'm an OTC trader, send me $1 million and I'll send you the crypto. That's the best way to lose all of your money. One golden rule of crypto, if somebody says, send me the crypto, don't even listen to the rest of the sentence, because it ain't coming back. Okay, send me the crypto means, send me the crypto. If you really want to send people crypto, send it to random people and see what happens, right? So never, 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 never give your crypto to anybody. Unless it's a legally structured fund with the right regulatory framework behind it, with legal agreements that you can sue them for and go after them for, do not ever give your crypto to anybody. This is a radical self-responsibility game where you have to take care of your own stuff. Off-ramps, same thing. OTC desks, big transfers, bank transfers through the SWIFT system is the next best option. Corporate off-ramps are great, because actually if you put your crypto into corporations, it usually reduces the tax liability and also increases your ability to be able to leverage them and be able to borrow against it. So what we do in Indonesia is we actually set up companies for people and help them put the crypto inside of the companies. And right now you're paying 0.6% tax on your crypto rather than whatever 30-40% you would pay in the ridiculous West, where they like to steal all of the money that you make. Crypto debit cards are another emergency red button exit off-ramp that you can have. They allow you to spend your crypto directly in case something's wrong with the systems or something, but be careful with that, because like crypto.com was a great place to be until we looked into under the hood and we realized, holy shit, crypto.com is even exposed and it's a risky place to be. And now they limited how much money you can pull out of crypto.com down to $30,000 a month. So have the card, do not pay for their higher level cards where you have to pay $2,000, $5,000 something to be able to hold a card. Don't do that. But Crypterium and Crypto.com, if you can get it, if you're regulatorily allowed to get it, is a good thing to have, just as an emergency where you can spend your crypto directly. But we don't believe in spending crypto. Like, we don't believe in spending crypto, because you never spend assets, right? Like if you have a house and you want a coffee, you don't sell your house to buy a coffee. You leverage your house and go borrow against the house and buy 100,000 coffees, and you keep your house, and your house goes up in value, and later on, 5 years down the road, you can borrow another 100,000 and buy another 1,000 coffees. I mean, those are expensive coffees, but you can buy 1,000 coffees from Starbucks if you really like expensive coffees, right? Banking tips, know your limits. Know your limits, know your country's limits. In many countries, above 10,000 transactions get flagged. Certain banks like HSBC don't like to interact with crypto. Wise and Revolut will shut down your account if you interact with crypto. You don't use digital banks. Understand your limits and understand how much your account is limited to. This is a very interesting exercise for a lot of people. I know people with millions of dollars who went to their bank and went, I want to take the money out. And they said, your limit's 5K. 5K. They told me this. I was like, hey, I want to move, a decent bit of money. They're like, and they shut down my debit card. They shut down my credit card. And they said, come to Canada to prove your ID. And I was like, it's COVID, bro. Like, I can't. And then they're like, I was like, what do you mean prove my ID? I've been with you for 15 years. They're like, it looks like fraud. I was like, what looks like fraud? Me sending money from my named account to my named account? looks like fraud to you, like I have the most unique name. It's Sukhsimran Singh Khela. Like, how many other Sukhsimran Singh Khelas are we sending this money to that I'm money laundering somehow? Right? So then they're like, oh, they put a limit on me. So I was like, okay, how much is the limit? Put a single digit thousands of dollars. And I just sat there every day sending single digit thousands of dollars into my crypto exchange in Canada for months. And I just bled it dry. And then I got a call. Hey, is everything okay? No, everything's not okay. Give me my money back. Click, hang up. I called them, they hang up, like my bank would hang up on me. And then I had to call my like manager and I was like, why does everybody keep hanging up on me? They're like, because you're calling from Indonesia. And I was like, okay. But it's an interesting exercise for you to go through. You'll probably realize your money is not there, actually. Banks will not give you your money. Let's go to the next page, please. So the way money usually goes into this space, if you're on Kraken or Coinbase, you go money, dollars, fiat, currency, to cryptocurrency, and you go back. For other exchanges, you go dollars to stable coins. Some people use Bitcoin, but Bitcoin fluctuates, but dollars to stable coins, which are equivalent to the dollars, to cryptocurrency. And like KuCoin, Binance, you would actually turn the money into fake versions of the dollar. I mean, the dollar's already pretty fake, but like, you know, dollars into fake versions of the dollars, and the fake versions of the dollars into cryptocurrency, and then you would turn the cryptocurrency into fake versions of the dollars, and then turn the fake versions of the dollars back into real dollars, and those real dollars will be put back into your bank account. So it's a little bit complicated for people to understand sometimes. Remember, these are not money. In the real world, these are not money. If you have $1 million USDT, it's money today, people accept it today, but one day they're gonna go, oops, we're going bankrupt. Like if you had $1 million of UST, which is Terra, one day it was money that, like, it was literally, it's money, it's not money. Like I watched it live. It was like money, no, not money, oh shit, it's like 95 cents of your money on the dollar, 95, 90, 75 pennies on the dollar. Your money is no longer money. So these are not money. This is money. This is money. If you pick the right ones, this is money. This is the future money. But it goes like this. It goes, this one stays pretty stable. It just bleeds you slowly. Regardless, bam, 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 or bam, bam, bam. We have all the links for you to watch tutorials on how to interact with all these exchanges, how to move money, beginners, add money, remove money, buy crypto, da 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 da. Please access these links to train yourself. Obviously do more research. Let's keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay. So then you have to determine what are my personalized on-ramps and what are my personalized off-ramps. Ideally, you want to have your best on-ramp and your best off-ramp. And the way you test these is you take $100 and you send it through a bank wire transfer. And these exchanges are tricky. They'll log you in and there'll be a big buy crypto button. So you'll be like, of course, buy crypto. So you'll press the buy crypto button and they'll ask you to connect a card and they'll charge you 6%, 8%, some of them 10% for you to buy it for convenience. That's not how we add money to exchanges. Unless it's OTC, which is a completely different process, you add funds to your exchange, select the currency you are moving, it'll show you a bank address, you select that bank address and send $100 to that bank address, okay? And when you send it, like let's say you're testing multiple exchanges, you send 100 to this one, 100 to this one, 100 to this one. 2 probably will be a huge pain. It'll take a long time, customer support, banks will be like, what are you doing, all this kind of stuff. One of them, it'll just show up. Kraken, this is why it's the gold standard. When you send money, the $100 will just show up most of the time. Sometimes Kraken has issues too. But the good thing with Kraken is when you contact them, a human, like a real, actual, like, you know, it's surprising, a real human will contact you. And they speak to you, and then they go, we'll find your money. And you go, oh, thank you. You go to these other, you go to Coinbase, it's like, where's my money? And they're like, tell us more. And you're like, yeah, this is a robot. Agent. And it goes, what is an agent? Tell us more. And you're like, where's my money? And they go, read this article. And you go, I've read the article. Where's my money? Let me talk to somebody. Did you try this? And it's just like, you just want to shoot yourself in the head for trying to interact with them, okay? But one of them will be easy. Many of them will not be. We use the easiest one for us to move money into the system. Like if you try to send it from Indonesia, It's better to go from Indonesian to local exchanges, turn your money into stable coins, and then move that into the other exchange rather than going through Indonesia to global exchanges. It works, like OCBC works well with Kraken, but it's difficult. So we select best and best. And best way to get it in, best way to get it out, and that's the one we use. And that will be defined by the ease of how your money moves. So please select your exchanges, write them here. Now we get to, yes, we have time. Now we get to the good parts. How do we not lose all of our money? How do we not lose all of our money? Because remember, all this is about how we don't lose all of our money. This whole space is a psychological trick. This whole space is one big psychological trip. Can you pull up the Wall Street cheat sheet? Ah, thank you, you're so quick. This is a representation of it. This is called the Wall Street cheat sheet. There's a different view of it that we go through, but this is actually literally layered on the price of Bitcoin, so this is really nice. This is the 2017 cycle of Bitcoin. This is the roller coaster. When I'm saying you're on a roller coaster, this is the roller coaster. This roller coaster is custom built to shake you loose of your money. Like, you know how cartoons, they like flip them upside down, they go chick, 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 and then the ching, and the coins fall out? That's literally what they're doing. They hang you upside down, shake you around, coins come out of our pockets, and we're left holding nothing. But the cycle is keep you in two states of emotions: fear and greed. That's it. Fear down here, and greed up here. Okay? And it's a pretty simple trick. Make you stare at the number on your screen. Because the thing with the number on the screen is, right, we're used to the banking system where the number on the screen is how much money I have. And if I have a lower number, I have less money. And our self-worth, it's called net worth, is attached to that number. It's like they're telling you, you are only worth the number on the screen. So we watch that number very closely. And we've been taught by our parents and everybody, make that number go up, honey. If that number goes down, you're worthless. You're useless, okay? And in that world, it's true. In this, yes, beautiful, thank you. In this world, that number is a psychological trick. And that number will put you in a state of fear, or it'll put you in a state of greed. But here's how the journey goes. Right now, we're in this range. Nobody can tell you which exact point we're in, but we're in this range. We're in the anger, capitulation, I'm getting 100% out of this market, I can't afford to lose any more money. Who shorted the market? Who destroyed Luna? Who told me to put my money in things I didn't understand? Why did the government allow this? There should be more regulations. This is literally the conversation happening today. Next, it's going to be depression. Like, my retirement money's lost. I'm depressed. The number went down 95%. It'll never return. Forgetting that the number went up 2,000% before it went down 95%. Bitcoin did a 20x before it's now fallen down. Yeah, the thing was 0.8 of a penny, and then now it's down to $20,000. That's just horrible, isn't it? That's just horrible. What a terrible place to be, right? But depression. And guess where the smart money loads up? Right here. They keep it in a certain range. They keep you in pain. Is it going to go up? Is it going to go up? Is it going to go up? Oh my God, it keeps going down. Oh my God, I'm depressed. Oh my God, it ruined my relationships, ruined my life, ruined the quality of life that I have. Remember, we're doing all of this for quality of life. Like, quality of life is literally the only thing that matters. Quality of experience, quality of relationships, quality of how you wake up in the morning and feel about yourself, your internal state. But they have now put you in all these feelings, right? And the point down here is you're going to be in such a state of fear because you don't understand what you're holding, and you're probably going to sell it at a low. And this is talking about solid coins, and we'll look at how to pick solid coins. But this is the state where you're going to give it up. And again, if you're an anxious person and you go on this roller coaster, this is where you're giving up because you're too anxious. Like, now the anxiety is peaking and you're having physical panic attacks and you literally can't sleep and you're completely fucked up and you ruined your business and you ruined everything that was good in your life over some number on a screen, okay? And this is real. I literally know people that have like IBS and diarrhea right now. I swear to God, they can't eat food. They're like yelling at their kids. Okay, they're constantly like, ah, ah, and they're just screaming, and I'm just like, And you can see it, like, hey, your internal state is coming out. Somebody didn't do their internal analysis correctly before they enter the space. But this is where we buy. When you're the most terrified of the space, when your entire understanding of how the old world works is telling you, run. Look at how many people lost money. That's the moment you come in and go, I would like some, please. I'll take it. And you overcome your fear. And you overcome your fear from a place of knowledge, from a place of understanding that this is the next stage of the internet. These are the value exchange mechanisms that will be used for the metaverse, XR, future world. And they do not behave the way traditional assets behaved in the old world. They're not dollars. Then you know what's going to happen? If you hold through this, or if you buy here, at some point the number is going to go up. Okay, and this cyclically repeats. And this repeats on the 15-minute scale, repeats on the hourly scale, daily scale, weekly scale, monthly scale, yearly scale, 4-year scale. This is fractal. Okay? It's going to go up, but you're going to be in a state of disbelief. Like, no, I'm not getting tricked. So many people lost all their money. Grandma lost her house. Okay? It's going to go up, and you're going to be in a state of disbelief. And then when it properly pumps, this was 20K Bitcoin last time, when it properly pumps, you're now going to go from a state of fear of losing all of your money to a fear of missing out. FOMO. It's just another fear. It's just a different type of fear. And you're going to be like, I'm missing the train, Okay, I'm going to buy it here. Okay, you're going to buy it right here. And then what's going to happen? It's going to drop. And when this drop, like this drop looks tiny right now, but when it's happening, it's like 30, 40, 50% drop in like a little bit of time. And you're like, fuck. And then you were in a state of fear of missing out. Now you're like, oh shit, I'm back into the fear of losing money. Give me back my 50%. And you're going to sell it here. And then what's going to? It's going to go up. Fear of missing out. Fear of losing money. Fear of missing out. Fear of losing money. Fear of missing out. Fear of losing money. And you're just like, panic attacks, right? And you're just not going to make it. So some people are like, but I hold. And they make it through. Those people go into optimism. Because now what you've done is, let's say you bought it down here. You know, you bought $3,500 Bitcoin here. We're at $20,000. You are going to be like, I am the smartest person I've ever met. And I'm so optimistic about this space. And in the old world, when something makes you money, what do we do to it? We hold on even tighter. If your business is making you money, if your house is making you money, if things are making you money, you go, I'm not letting this go. I'm optimistic. Now what you've done is you've transitioned from a state of fear into a state of greed. This is the beginning of greed, but you're like, this rally is real. Mom, look at the number on the screen, I'm rich. Literally, people will be like, Mom, number on screen, I'm rich, I'm buying you a house, everything. Honey, did you take it out? No, don't worry about it. I'm not taking it out, it's making me so much money, Mom. Just chill, watch this. Great. It's gonna go, then it's gonna go whew, like it did in 2021 or end of 2020. It's gonna go, wow. And you're going to be like in a state of belief. You're going to be like, now's the time to get fully invested. Look at how much money I've made. Mom, sell the house. Sell the house. It's okay. I'm going to turn it into 7 houses. Give me all the money. Let's put it in. You're going to put it in here, and you're going to hug that thing so close. You're going to hug it so, like, you're never going to want to let it go because this is your money maker. It's life-changing money that is making you. And you start to see dreams of like jets, and you're like, I'm wealthy. And you're like flying on jets in your head, right? And the smart money here knows they got you. The smart money starts offloading from here. They bought it down here. They bought hundreds of billions of dollars worth of it down here. And they kept the prices manipulated in a range. Once it's up here, it takes them 6 months to offload hundreds of billions of dollars onto a bunch of us with like our little pennies. So they will start offloading from here, and they'll release the news, Bitcoin going to 400,000. This was like January of 2021. Bitcoin going to 400,000. And it goes up, keeps going up, you hug it tighter, they're offloading onto you, you're like, I want more. They go, oh, he wants more? Here, buy this thing at 50,000, buy it at 60,000, buy it at 65,000. And when it was at 69,000, everybody's like, we're going to 100K, moon time. We're all gonna get rich. I'm a genius. We are like literally the YouTube thumbnail said, we are all going to get rich. When I saw that, I just started being like, get the fuck out of the markets. It's happened, okay? People are like, no, we're going to 100K. And I was like, let me know when you Get there, but I'd like to turn it into businesses in real world life, and I'll sip coconuts on the beach and let me know once you get to 100K. What it then does is it goes up, and you go into a state of euphoria, and then it drops, right? May 2021, it went up, peaked, and then it dropped. But now you're blind. You're blind from the greed. You're like, no, it's okay. Every time it drops, it goes up. Every time it drops, it goes up, right? I know. Like in my extensive 40-second experience in the market, it has gone up and gone. It always goes up when it goes down. And so it goes down, and you're like, it's gonna go up. And you're blind. You're like, no, jets. I was a millionaire. Number said I was a millionaire. Now it says I'm a half a millionaire. I'm not selling it until it goes to $1 million. I want 2 million. I want 5. I want 10. I want more. Greed. Okay? And then guess what it did? It went back. It went back to 69K again in December. And I was like, and those people were like, I just wish I sold it at 65. And I was like, it's at 65 right now. Sell it. No, Sim, we're going to 100K. All right. You're in a state of complacency. You become complacent because you're blinded by greed. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, September, next year. Okay? So it'll play out something like this, where then you go into, you're complacent, and you're like, I was a millionaire, I want to go back to being a millionaire. And then it's like, it drops, and you're like, oh shit. You got anxiety, like, I was a millionaire. And then it goes down, you're like, there's no way I'm not a millionaire. Fuck, I'm not a millionaire. Let's sell it lower than where I bought it. The dream is done, and you're depressed, and you're destroyed. Who the fuck did this? Rinse and repeat. Sell everything at bottom barrel prices. Now we lost mom's house, and we lost our own money. Do you understand the game? And then it takes us 6 months to forget this, to go back to this game. And then it takes us 6 months to forget this, to go to this game. Rinse and repeat, and rinse and repeat. Okay? So what do? When there's maximum fear in the markets, they say when there's blood in the streets, you should buy it, especially if it's your own blood. Okay? This is blood in the streets. Today the streets are bleeding very heavily, and we got another punch to the gut coming, probably. That's the moment you buy it. And you buy the right stuff, and we're going to look at how to buy the right stuff. And the moment you feel yourself going into a state of belief and greed, you start selling it. The moment you start trusting that this thing's going to make you money forever, that's the moment you start selling it. We have psychometrics. We literally, off the blockchain, we pull psychometrics. We paid $10,000 for a subscription that gives us deep psychometrics from the blockchain, where we know what are the short-term holders feeling, what are the long-term holders feeling, what are the Ethereum people feeling, what are the other people feeling, and we use those psychometrics to make decisions. But wait, how are they making me feel this stuff? Just that number on the screen? So just one number on a screen is all it takes to make me feel something. Okay, how about we do this? Stop staring at the number on the screen. There's 2 numbers, actually. Most people don't see the 2 numbers. There's one number that has this weird S with a line through it. It's this S with a line is like running the world. It's a $sign number. And the $sign number is like, wow. But there's a number right below that. It says, how many coins are you holding? How many coins are you holding? And that number matters the most. The people who've been in crypto long enough, when we pick the right coins and we know we're holding pieces of gold that are the functional base layer of value exchange in the future, we don't worry about that number at the top. We worry about the number at the bottom, because my goal is to make more coins, right? I'll give you an example. Let's say you have $100,000 and I give you 50 ounces of gold, and you have 50 ounces of gold in your hand. And I come to you the next day and I say, this is worth $50,000. And you'll go, but it's gold. Okay, thank you. Next day I come to you and I go, this is worth $150,000. You go, that's nice, but I still mainly just have gold. And next day I come to you and I go, it's worth $1. And you'll be like, fuck off, this is gold. You're telling me this gold is worth $1? Like, what's wrong with you? I don't care. Like, I still have the gold. I'm holding the gold because I know it's gold. And the next day I come to you and I go, it's worth $500,000. You'll be like, here's the gold. You said $500,000, right? I'd like the $500,000, take the gold. Now, did it matter that the gold went to 50,000, then 150, and then $1, and then 500,000? No. How much money did you make or lose along the way? Well, once you sold it for $500,000, you made $400,000. But when I came and told you it was worth $1, how much money did you lose? Nothing. When I told you it was $200,000 or $150,000, how much money did you make? Nothing. You made 50 ounces of gold, right? So we are holding digital versions of the gold. Of course, picking the gold is the name of the game, and we're going to go through that. But if you just look at the number of gold that you're holding, it'll completely change your psychology. And once you understand this game, now you'll see yourself. Now, like when you feel these things, and especially when you're in the game and you're in the markets and you're feeling these things, put yourself literally on this chart. And then you'll see like, okay, so that's the shift. Like they changed the news, they changed the stuff, they like scare me, markets are dropping, world's collapsing, okay. And I feel scared or panicked or I feel like capitulating and selling low, like just completely leaving the markets, or angry, or am I depressed? You put yourself on this thing and you go, they're manipulating my emotional state. And their goal is to scare me and trick me into giving up my money. And if you have deep enough work that you've done inside, you can control your emotional state. And you just go, Om, that's it. You can't shake me, bro. I got bigger goals. I will die on my hill, and I will hold the gold until you tell me the gold is worth a lot more. And the crazy thing is this, so from here to here took, from like here to here took like a year and a half. From here to here took 4 weeks. One time it took 5 weeks, other time it took 4 weeks, other time it took 5 weeks. The reason why it's so hard to deal with it is because when that flood comes in, you're just like, the numbers are just insane. And you're like, and it just like shakes you, and things start to happen to you, which you're like, I'm not a greedy person. Wait until I dump $500,000 into your account that you've never had more than $20,000 in. Let's see then what happens to your state. That's why like internal states are the most important. Does that make sense? Okay, so now that's where we're going to leave it for now. Okay, next time we'll go through the rules of psychology that you follow to protect yourself against all this stuff. Actually, no, let's go through the rules right now because we're already on psychology. Let's go to the next one, please. Here are the cardinal rules of psychology that you must follow in your strategy. Emotions have nothing to do with investing. Your emotions are the control point that they have on you, so remove emotion. And these strategies are custom built to help you remove emotion, but emotions have nothing to do with it. If you have emotions, we all have emotions, have your emotions over here. Emote, punch things, jump for joy, do whatever you want. But try to control it, but do whatever you want. Now it comes to acting in your portfolio. No, you don't act from a place of emotion. You calm down, you breathe, you meditate, you sit, you read your strategy, you have a plan, you execute it emotionlessly. The more you can remove emotions, the more you will win. You have not made any money when it goes up, and you have not lost any money when it goes down. Those chickens are counted when you actually exit. The only thing that matters is when you enter and when you exit. What happens in between is nobody's business. It does not matter. You do not make money when it goes up. You do not lose money when it goes down. What people do is, the 100,000 gold example, if I was to come and tell you it's worth 150,000, you go, wow, and next day I go, it's worth $1. What people go is, I lost $149,999. That's how they think. And that's stupid. You have 50 ounces of gold, right? So the only thing that matters is when you buy it and when you sell it. And if 100% of anybody who's ever bought solid cryptos, ever, would have not lost any money if they just didn't sell it lower than where they bought it. Like, that's such a stupidly simple sentence, but like, it's so hard to execute. 100% of anybody who's bought solid cryptos, and there's 1,000 of them, would have not lost any money if they just didn't sell it lower than where they bought it. So you do not make money when it goes up. You do not lose money when it goes down. You only make money or lose money when you sell it. Number 3, goes without saying, but trust me, this needs to be said, patience. The patience to just sit and let the process play out, the patience to get out of the markets and sit out of the markets and let the explosion go down. Patience. Patience pays in this space. Do your own research on everything. This is a great quote. People like to parrot. Like, how do I do research on stuff? We'll look at next time how to do research on things. But do your own research on everything. Don't just listen to your friends. Here's the thing. If your friend goes buy this, you ask your friend, what does it do? And your friend will go, it does stuff? What do you mean, what does it do? Like it makes people rich. That's not a function. That's not a function of anything. If something makes you money, it's like, no, it's a Ponzi scheme. You don't make money, you take money. You don't make money, you take money. So if somebody tells you to buy something and they can't explain to you what it does, they shouldn't be putting the money in it, and you definitely should not follow your friend off the cliff. If somebody tells you something, try to find out why it's good and try to find out why it's bad, even when I'm telling you these things. Okay? Try to find out why it's good, try to find the opposite of why it's bad, come up with a conclusion. If it does not make sense to you, do not put your money inside of it. This is just a rule in life. Please, please just don't do what everyone else is doing. Like, my like rule in life is, even if I don't know what's going on, if everybody goes right, I just go left. Like, I will just literally do the opposite of what everyone else does, and statistically, it's paid off every single time. But in crypto especially, if you see other people doing stuff, like if it's like you start seeing on social media that Shiba Inu's pumping, you're late. Somebody bought it and then pumped it up on social media. So by the time everybody else is doing it, you should be running always opposite of the crowd. When everybody's scared, you're running in. When everybody's greedy, you're running out. When everybody's screaming buy something, you sell it. When everybody's like, I hate this thing, then you buy it. Always do the opposite of what everybody is doing. And then remember, 30% drops are what we call a Tuesday. 50% drops are like, wow, that's interesting. 95% drops were like, well, that's seasonal. Welcome to the space. Because if you want something to go up 1,000%, 2,000, 5,000, 55,000%, you got to be able to handle the 90% down. Because it doesn't just go 55,000%. It goes up 55,000%, 95, 97%, 99% down sometimes. But it's like it did 55,000% and then it went 99% down. I don't know the math on that, but that's like hundreds of percents up from where you entered still, right? So remember that this is a roller coaster you're entering. And if you can't stomach it, please, please, please be careful about getting onto it. And that is where we're going to leave it off for today. Please, if you want to access the videos, join our beginner group. We have all the videos there that we've done the recordings previously. If you're like, I want to go through this quickly, we have this on the website as a course that you can go through for free. Now this new presentation is also going to be turned into a course with the strategy document. You can download it, fill it out yourself, take care of yourself, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Now, any questions before we just, anybody have any questions? Probably like, he just talked too fast. I was going to ask questions and he just never gave me a chance. I forgot my questions. All right, thank you.